Good afternoon, everyone. You can hear, no? Can people hear me? Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Riddhi Shah. It's a pleasure to introduce Dr. Archana Morie. She did her BSc from SP College, Pune, and Masters from IIT Bombay, and she did her PhD from Harishchandra Research Institute, Allahabad, last year. She works in algebraic geometry. That's her major area of research, and currently she's a postdoctoral fellow at Chennai Mathematical Institute, Chennai. And title of her talk is Vector Bundles over Real Abelian Variety.
Yeah, thank you, Riddhi. So title of my talk is Vector Bundle over Real Abelian Variety. I would like to thank organizer for inviting me for this talk. Aim of my talk is to understand the following theorem. Let X be a real abelian variety and let E be a real vector bundle over X. Then following are equivalent. First is E admits a real flat holomorphic connection if and only if E is real homogeneous. E is real semi-stable with C1, C2, 0. So main aim of my talk is to understand this concept which are in a bold like flat, connection, homogeneous, semi-stability. So throughout the talk my emphasis will be on defining these terms. I'll tell you how these terms comes in an algebraic way as well as a differential geometric way. So we will see these two different aspects of the same concept to see, and later we will see how these things are equivalent. Since this theorem is about vector bundle, let me begin by defining what is vector bundle is. Usha ma'am already did it, so let me again do it. What lights? So vector bundles are continuous map from E to X of one Hausdorff space to another, and right now we are only restricting ourselves to vectors this K to be R or C. We satisfy the following condition. So first is we want fiber to be a K vector space. So what it means, you have this topological space X below and another topological space E above and a morphism pi, and vector bundles means for every point in X you will have if you look at the inverse image of it, it will be a vector space. If you consider it is R vector space or any C vector space. So basically X parameterize a family of vector bundles which is above. So this is what is a vector bundle is, and locally we want some, locally it should look like a U cross this vector space K to the power R. So basically locally you will have a U here, then here the space will look like U and a vector space, a lot of vector spaces around. So let us just see one simple example which already been talked. So if you consider as S1 in XY plane, and if you consider a unit cylinder, infinite unit cylinder above it, and if you actually project all these lines to this XY plane, then we get a trivial vector bundle of dimension 1, of rank 1. So this is the simplest example of vector bundle. So this is a cylinder and this is a S1 and a morphism pi is a usual projection. So this is a one example of vector bundle. Another example, and yeah, just let me point out that this integer R which is here, it is, if X is connected, then this integer R is independent of point P chosen, and in that, so in that case X, this R is called the rank of a vector bundle. Another example is that of a sphere, and if you consider a tangent space, so let me just draw a sphere. Say if you consider a sphere, and for any point P on a sphere, if you look at a tangent space which consisting of all those vector spaces which are actually orthogonal to that point, then that gives us a tangent vector bundle of S2, and this pi map is given by so this is another example of vector bundle. This is a vector bundle of rank 2. So this is a way to look at vector bundle in a algebraic, in a differential, in a geometric setting. So let us see how in algebraic geometry, how we see vector bundles. So let me begin with some definitions for that. A ring space is a pair XOX, where X is a topological space and OX is a sheaf of ring. Sheaf of ring is nothing but just for every, so sheaf of ring is if U containing X is open, sheaf of ring is a family which is given by OXU, which is a ring, and there are some restriction maps. So don't bother about, but it is just something which is a ring. And what is example of it is, if you consider a C infinity manifold, and if you look at its sheaf of C infinity functions, means for given open set U, you consider this set of all C infinity maps from U to C. This is again a ring because you can add two functions here, you can multiply, so this is a ring. And if you consider this pair X comma C infinity XC, this is again a ring space. Now next object is and similar to that of a C infinity manifold, you can consider complex manifold, and in that case we will consider all those functions which are holomorphic. Functions. So that is again also a ring, and this is another example of ring spaces. So let XOX be a ring space. Now we will look at what is the OX module is. OX module is nothing but just a module, as its definition suggests. So F is called OX module if F of U is an OXU module. Since in algebra we are always dealing with objects like ring, modules, so basically we are just trying to convert our definition of vector bundle also in terms of that, but you need some local conditions, so sheaf comes into a picture, but you don't bother much about it, so it is like that. And an OX module is called locally free if for every point X there exists a neighborhood such that F is locally looks like a free module. So you can consider it as a free module. And actually these are the vector bundles of, so if X is a connected manifold, then the category of K vector bundles on X and the category of locally free sheaves of finite rank are equivalence of category. So if you look at in the algebraic settings, you can call vector bundle as a just a free, they are look like a free modules. Our next, okay, so that's all I want to say about vector bundles. Next we will consider, since our theorem is about the admitting connection on vector bundle, let us see what is the definition of connection. So let E be a C infinity complex vector bundle of rank R over X. A C infinity connection is a C linear sheaf morphism A0 from A0 E to A1 of E. So these are some modules. So these objects are some modules, so you just don't take. So this is basically a sheaf of P forms with the values in E. So by this definition, connection is basically a differential operator of order 1. So it is increasing a degree by 1 from 0 to 1, and we want it to satisfy such a Leibniz identity. So it is technical definition, so let me just skip. We can extend a C infinity connections definitions from 0 form to 1 to any P forms using a Leibniz identity, Leibniz rule, and we can define this operator for any P forms, and since it is of order 1 form, it is order 1 operator, it starts with P and it goes to P plus 1. Holomorphic connections are also defined in the similar manner, only you have to change all the C infinity things to be a P forms and so on. And we say that a C infinity connection is flat if del square, this nabla square is 0, or in a holomorphic sense also it is the same if D square is 0. So if you operate a operator again twice, composition of this thing is 0. So, but actually by looking at this definition of connection, why to call such a kind of map is a connection. Connection means we want it should be connecting something. So this doesn't give that, this is algebraic definition. So let us see why we call such a map a connection. So actually connection connects basically fibers over a curve. You can see from this figure of a vector bundle, we have a space below and there are a lot of vector spaces which is lying over it. So connection actually gives you a connecting those two fibers along, and more precisely let me define it precisely. So if E is a C infinity complex vector bundle equipped with a C infinity connection, and if you have a smooth curve below, so suppose alpha is any curve which is joining below, then actually a connection gives you so suppose this is alpha, it gives you a way of connecting these two fibers. That means it gives you another map which satisfies certain condition. So basically connection gives you that, and which is called parallel transport operator. And another, in topology we know that there is a topological invariant called fundamental group of that topology. So in that case actually we generally consider two curves to be a homotopic, and homotopic curves we generally identify. So what happens if you have a homotopic map below, then actually if connection is a flat, it says that it gives the same map on the above space. So if the connection is flat, then parallel transport is invariant under smooth homotopies. And technically speaking, a vector bundle admits flat connection if and only if it defined by representation of fundamental group, which are important vector bundles to study. By looking at the definition of a connection, we as our theorem is consisting of existence of a connection, so let us see whether why we say problem of existence. A C infinity connection always exists in C infinity vector bundle. So that is actually because locally you can define on U cross this vector space, you can always define a connection, and then thanks to partition of unity which gives you a way of patching up. But actually this is not true in the case of, but this is not true in general in the homotopic category. So existence of holomorphic connection is not something which is which comes naturally. And abstraction for E to have a holomorphic connection is in the Chern classes. So Chern classes is characteristic classes of that vector bundle, and actually they are something which is a topological invariant, but that actually abstract to admit a holomorphic connection or not. So precisely saying, let X be a connected complex manifold of scalar type and E is a holomorphic vector bundle over X. If E admits holomorphic connection, then for all CJE are 0. So actually Chern classes for every vector bundle E, there are Chern classes which are C0 of E, then C1 of E and CR of E. So there are these R plus 1 Chern classes. If you are in a nice thing, then C0 of E is always 1. So actually problem is with this. So what this theorem says that if there exists a holomorphic connection, then all these Chern classes becomes 0. So if you have a vector bundle in which even one of this higher non-zero Chern class is non-zero, then it doesn't exist a holomorphic connection. So, so this is a necessary condition, but unfortunately this is not a this is necessary condition, but unfortunately this is not a sufficient condition. So the converse is not true in general. So now that's why actually it is important to see some other criteria to find out whether this vector bundle admits holomorphic connection or not. And that's why theorem which I wrote first, that gives you an equivalence of these 2-3 conditions one is existence of holomorphic connection, another is stability, and the third is homogeneity. So let us see what is stability condition is. Already Usha ma'am talked about it. So let me just again define it. Let X be a scalar manifold. You just ignore this scalar word and it's fine with it. Then for any vector bundle E over X, degree of E is defined to be integration of first Chern class wedge with scalar form. One can extend the definition of degree for torsion free coherent shifts. This is a technical thing. Usha ma'am was considering over a curve, so we all, in that case actually you can always consider only vector bundles. But since our result is about other manifolds also, so we have to consider something this technical terms. So it's okay to see. So holomorphic vector bundle E over a compact scalar manifold is said to be stable if for every proper holomorphic coherent subshift we have this condition mu of f is equal to degree of f divided by rank of A, and we want this to be a strictly less than, and if it is semi stable we say if it is a lesser than or equal to. So this definition of stability is given by Mumford first, and it is very much it is a algebraic definition, but Narasimhan-Seshadri theorem gives us that these stable vector bundles are important even in a physics as well as that of a differential geometry. And let me just say this, stable vector bundles are important in physics and differential geometry. Stable vector bundles over Riemann surfaces are closely related to Yang-Mills theory, and Narasimhan-Seshadri theorem gives this correspondence. So it says that a stable holomorphic vector bundle over Riemann surfaces admits the Einstein-Hermitian metric, or it's sometimes called Hermitian-Yang-Mills metric or connection, and conversely. So this this algebraic condition imposed on this vector bundle, that gives you something which is a base existence of some base metric. So that's why it is a deep theorem, and that's why beauty of this subject also lies here. There are several different physics, differential geometry, algebraic geometry, everything comes together and it becomes really nice. So okay, so next, okay, for last 3 slides I'll just make some definitions so that I can recall again our theorem and I can state it with a precision, more precision. So real abelian variety is a real holomorphic manifold where the underlying complex manifold is abelian variety. So abelian varieties are just like a torus, so you consider Cn quotient out with some lattice, and the anti-holomorphic involution which is compatible with a group operation. So real always comes with something, a real structure. So this anti-holomorphic involution imposes a real structure on X. A real holomorphic vector bundle over X sigma is a pair E comma alpha E, where E is a holomorphic vector bundle and alpha is an anti-holomorphic involution compatible with a sigma. So yeah. A vector bundle over abelian variety is called homogeneous if it is invariant under all translations. So there is something called pullback of a vector bundle, and if they are isomorphic we say that it is homogeneous. So let us just keep, and this is a technically technically what is real homogeneous, but let me just say, so basically what we are considering, only real points you consider. Real points means those points which are invariant under involution, and so those points which are invariant under this involution, so sigma x is equal to x. So for that point only you just check whether these 2 vector bundles are isomorphic, but we want actually this isomorphism to be real. Real means some compatible with some real structure. So this is a technical definition, you can just ignore. So for those we call the real homogeneous. So our statement of our theorem says that real homogeneous vector, if vector bundle is real homogeneous, if and only if it admits a real holomorphic connection, if and only if it is actually a semi-stable, real semi-stable with first 2 Chern classes 0. So this is a first definition of real homogeneous. A real holomorphic connection is again a holomorphic connection, but we want it should be a compatible with your real structure which is on a E. And a real holomorphic vector bundle is on scalar manifold is called real semi-stable, real stable or real semi-stable, if you have to just consider this condition only for real holomorphic coherent subshift. So you don't need to check this condition of slope to be strictly less than for all coherent subshift of E, but only you can consider for a real. So those are called real stable or real semi-stable. So my last slide is just a precise statement of our main theorem. So let X sigma is a real abelian variety and let E alpha E be a real holomorphic vector bundle over X, then the following are equivalent. So first is E alpha E admits a real holomorphic connection. So it is a holomorphic connection, but it should be compatible with real structure. If and only if it is a real homogeneous, so it is just invariant under real points. If and only if it is a real semi-stable with first two Chern classes are 0. So you have to just consider that slope condition for real subshifts. And this is a technical condition actually, it admits a filtration with yeah, so those who are works in this area, for them it is. And the last condition, it is it actually admit a real flat holomorphic connection. So it is not just a holomorphic connection, but it is a real flat holomorphic connection. I just want to, this is the end of my slides, but I just wanted to say one thing about it. The holomorphic vector bundle over over complex abelian varieties are studied by Biswas, Balaji, Gomez, Jaya ma'am and Subramaniam. So this actually result is a real analog of some of their results. But actually when you are working with a real, there are two types of, there are some technical difficulties, like C is algebraically closed, but R is not algebraically closed. So if you are working with an algebraic setting, there will be a problem in that sort. And if you are looking at a geometric way, so if you consider just an involution and anti-holomorphic map, in that also then you have to actually constructing this connection, then you have to check whether it is real, so whether it satisfies certain kind of the compatibility conditions. So those are the technical points of this theorem. So yeah, yeah, that's all I want to say. Thanks.
There is paper by Vitaly Milman and his co-author characterizing operations which satisfy Leibniz. T of f is f log mod f.
I have one more question. Yeah. So you're talking about real manifolds. Have you thought about other fields like medium fields or periodic?
Oh, actually not.
Yeah, they form a large class. So.
Yeah, maybe I can see about it. Yeah, okay, thank you. Actually, because when I was working with a real, there were already a lot of problems to settle down.
Yeah.
So maybe, but actually I can
Are there
see.
people working?
Huh?
Are there people working on?
Yeah, Vishwas, Usha ma'ams and Vishwas, they also have one paper, but it was actually about. So that paper is about this. Ma'am showed in the slide that Athia classified this real line, all vector bundles over elliptic curves. So they are actually using Klein bottle. They classified some of this line bundles. But there are a lot of papers by others now on this kind of So there are a lot of problems which might be open for to convert from complex setting to the real setting.
Yeah, I asked about periodic fields.
Yeah, but that.
Yeah, non-Archimedean. Okay. Thank you very much, Archana, and thank you, everybody. I have some announcements to make. So, just 1 minute. This group discussion. So, as you know, at 3 o'clock we have these group talks and group discussions. So, I would just like to tell you that all the talks except the second talk by Usha Mohan are in this building. So for example, Aladi Hall Rukmini Day's talk is on the top floor of this building. You can just go out through the corridor and go to the top floor. There is a lift and there are staircases. Then Usha Mohan's talk is in the main building as you enter the front building in Chandrasekhar Hall on the first floor. First floor means first floor, okay. But the other talks like Ranja Roy's talk, which is room 326, is actually second floor of this building. And room 117, Punita Batra and Shanti Bhushan, room 123, they are on the ground floor. So 123 and 117, that specifies ground floor. And Preeti Raman's talk is in room 217, so that is first floor of this building. And Claire's talk is in room 327, which is third floor main building. Oh, this new building, second floor, not third floor. Floor 3 means actually second floor, okay. This is an American system, I believe. And Sauli Gun's talk is in second floor, room 318. And so the group talks and group discussions will take place in these respective rooms. So you have to find your ways in. Then there is a cultural program, namely a violin concert by R. Hemlata from 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. in this hall today, okay? And after that, there is dinner at 7:30 in the usual place at the bus arranged at 8:15 for those people who are not staying in IMSC guest house. So the bus will take participants to their respective venue of stay. Okay. Is there any question? Anything? Okay. Thank you very much. So you can proceed towards your respective talk that you signed up for.